Hey.
We're almost there, Leviathan. The final step between me and the old city's upon us. I wish I could take you along.
The Water Avenue is what that says, and apparently we're not taking Leviathan to Old City. But then I'm not 100% sure what Leviathan is yet, other than supposedly we're inside him. You're out of order. You're out of order. This whole courtroom's out of order. References. Alright, well I guess we're supposed to go up these stairs. Or the escalator. Well, the power's off, so the escalator wouldn't make me lazy, but I'm feeling not lazy, so I'm going to take the stairs. Looks like we're heading outside.
Will you remember me? After all, I could never forget you. And how can I even begin to thank you for all that you've done for me? You protected me from a world that I was too weak to bear. But now the distant shores of another reality are calling me home. To something I've never seen before. A dangerous and unpredictable world lies ahead of me. But I'm ready to let loose the sails.
Alright, I don't know where to go, so my intuition is saying right, even though I said earlier about the whole left thing. I don't know, right just feels right to me right now. Just want to sail? Travel in style. Book your journey aboard the Escape. Well, one of the things about this game is that my character is not of a completely sound mind, so I believe that this and the boxes that say make the leap aren't actually there, or maybe don't say that, I don't know. 982. It started when I was a child, I'm sure. It started just after I began to ask questions. I asked them over and over until my poor parents were forced to resort to arbitrary certainties. Why, I asked. Why, over and over. I wanted to regress until I hit a point where I said so was the only acceptable answer. It was at that moment, that small moment of parental authority, that I felt safe. In the most bizarre and unfortunate turn of events, I fell downward into the acceptance of an end to regression. But the good was never perfect, was it? All I wanted was the good. I wanted to maintain my happiness, my contentment, even if it was born of a less than ideal perspective. What is an ideal perspective anyways? What is the perfection that I should have latched onto? That's just the fun of it, isn't it? It isn't real. It's a dream, my dear reader. The ideal was never real, and it was never within my grasp. To even attempt to reach it would have destroyed my happiness. The child in me could not handle this, however, so I rejected the ideal. I wanted to remain safe, yes, and I did so until it happened.
My father once recited a poem to me about an older world. I believe it was called Dover Beach. I can still remember the imagery, just the words that escape me. We stood at the shoreline, waves crashing in, each wave eroding yet another piece of what I once believed. I think my father saw what was happening to me. He saw the dwindling of my dreams, the death of discovery. I could no longer rely on ABBA to build my dreams back up. Left with nothing, I convinced myself that there were no dreams.
That's a paraphrase of the poem that's in the kid's bedroom. Goodbye, Bella. This was Solomon's residence. It happened. I fell. I began to defend my happiness with arbitrary rules made of certainty and realism. I created rules and structures that only had the effect of caging me in something entirely arbitrary. I did this all for the sake of happiness, yes, as the others began to encroach on my cage, the dwellers with differing perspectives. I became more vigilant in my defense until I was villainous. I harmed anyone who dared challenge my sight. Of course, I was never a dweller. I never had the communal spirit. Even from the start to the end, I was called a Minotaur. That was simply due to my misanthropy, however, and it had hardly anything to do with my desire for the inland. Although it is true that their communal tendencies tend to make it difficult to break out of their cage, but I dare say it isn't impossible. At first I thought the inland was a farce. I had been told by the few Minotaurs that I had seen that it was some sort of center for enlightenment amidst our fallen world. The dwellers who had spoken to me on the subject had a far less optimistic understanding. Then again, why would they need enlightenment when certainty already exists? Minotaurs have the advantage of being self-deprecatory. That is to say, when you have no true arrogance manifested in certainty, you'll latch on to any anchor you can find. It was the same for me, it seems, as I eventually adopted the notion that the inland held the answers. I also began to feel as though I had none. My desperation grew as I lost all sense of truth. I began to feel my sight fading, and the thoughts of suicide crept in. I truly hit the bottom of the broken progression. This was an especially unfortunate place to be in, as it then became impossible to see the upward tangent. The leap becomes obscured by the void, and there doesn't appear to be any progression at all. A Solomon's note. Hey buddy, it's been a while. We missed number 6 of 7, which means we've missed one of Solomon's notes, which, it kind of sucks. I thought I saw a person there. Creepy. I was hoping to get all 7 of them. I don't know where the other one is, or was. But, yeah. Everything changed, however, when I learned to use my dreams. I had always dreamed, of course, but the question was that of their usefulness, not their existence. I could not escape them, so the latter point was moot. Dreams have an incredibly powerful hold on one's perspective of reality, even if they have little to do with it themselves. After falling, my assumption was that the dreams existed to taunt me. They seemed to only contrast the ideal with the real. This made the real all the more depressing, but I do not believe that this is where the dreams have their use. Dreams act as impossible ideals that should never be fully grasped. Rather, they should serve only as a direction for progression. The dream will never be realized in your lifetime, dear reader, but the real will change marginally. A marginal effect caused by a relatively small part of humanity. Your task is to bring the dream to the real, even if the effect is marginal. One giant leap, reader. Abraham, they call me. At least that is the name I give to the young dweller who asked me the other day. One irrelevant question. My name is as important as my status as an individual anyway. I could see the glimmer of pointlessness in his eyes. It is the driving force behind progression, if only he can accept the marginal nature of the process. He must be able to remove his worth as an individual so that he may take his own leap of faith for only a small reward. When meaning is deconstructed, the only driving force of progress is the acceptance of uncertainty. Dreams. The old city never offered enlightenment. On the contrary, it offers only further dreaming, and it is now time for me to take my leap. I wish more would come along. Alright. So So I came out there, went through there. So I guess I'm supposed to go this way. That appears to be a drawing of a whale. Arrows. Branches, more arrows. Eyes. Certainty. Deduction. Tantis. Or Fontes.
Here it is. The leap. Goodbye, my old friend.
I guess I'm supposed to leap off that. I'm trying quickly. Okay. Watch your step.